Hey there, for Niners fans! Today we are diving deep into some of the most intriguing developments surrounding our beloved San Francisco 49ers. This offseason has already sparked conversations about roster moves, potential signings, and how the team might address some of the challenges that showed up last season. There's a lot to unpack. From offensive line discussions to the wide receiver room, and how management is thinking about building around Brock Purdy, let's get into it. One of the topics that has captured a lot of attention is the potential addition of a high-profile center. There's been talk about Tyler Linderbaum and what he could bring to the Niners if signed. Imagine a 4-year, $72 million deal designed to strengthen the offensive line. Looking at his performance metrics, he ranks 5th among centers in overall PFF grade and 4th in run blocking. That is exactly the kind of upgrade that could make a noticeable difference in both the run game and the stability of the offensive line. While his pass protection is not elite, it is still a step up from what Jake Bindle has delivered. Even in an improved season, Bindle, despite showing growth, still ranked 31st among centers in pass protection. So the comparison highlights the potential benefit of bringing in someone like Linderbaum. Now, some may question whether the 49ers are actually heading in this direction. Kyle Shanahan has been careful with his roster investments, especially considering that having a mobile quarterback can offset some of the pressure on the offensive line. There's a balancing act between investing in linemen and allocating resources to other positions that can immediately impact the offense. But even if this signing doesn't happen, the discussion itself sheds light on the team's priorities and the areas where fans are hoping to see improvement. The conversation isn't just about the potential acquisition, it's also about the philosophy behind roster decisions and how that shapes the team moving forward. Turning to the broader offensive picture, the Niners' recent performances against the Seahawks highlight some recurring challenges. Losing to Seattle in key matchups has forced the team to evaluate its weapons, play calling, and offensive execution. Even though the offense performed better in the playoff rematch, there were still multiple drives where the team failed to capitalize and convert opportunities into points. This gap in production exposes the need for more dynamic and reliable playmakers. Comparing the Niners' offensive options to other top NFC teams, it's clear that there are areas that require urgent attention, particularly in the wide receiver room. Brian Baldinger provided some insights that really resonate with fans looking for concrete assessments. His take was simple but telling. The 49ers need speed at receiver and upgrades on the offensive line. Looking at left guard and center positions, it's apparent where improvements could have the biggest impact. While Jake Bindle has shown promise in some areas, particularly in reducing penalties and improving run blocking, pass protection remains a concern. Shanahan's track record suggests that immediate changes at center are unlikely, but that doesn't rule out potential strategic additions that could bolster the line in other areas, including the drafting of a tackle who could eventually fill a key role in the future. The wide receiver room is another topic that cannot be ignored. Injuries have impacted consistency. And while Ricky Piri and Brandon Ayuk showed flashes, the team never had a true number one receiver available for a full season. Jawan Jennings has been reliable and versatile, often making key plays in critical moments, but questions remain about whether he fits the role of a top-tier receiver, especially with financial considerations in mind. The team may need to explore options in the draft or free agency to bring in a receiver capable of consistently beating press coverage, creating separation, and delivering in high-pressure situations. This is a critical step if Brock Purdy is to maximize his effectiveness as the offensive leader. Analyzing targets and reception percentages illustrates the depth and distribution challenges within the passing game. Christian McCaffrey remains a consistent focal point, leading targets and production, while injuries limited George K.D.'s participation and reduced opportunities for other receivers to step up. Ricky Piri, as a former first-round pick, has yet to see the volume expected of him due to injuries and rotational play. Overall, the Niners' receiving corps has talent, but the lack of a dynamic wide receiver capable of serving as a true go-to option highlights the strategic gaps that must be addressed for sustained offensive success. Looking at the broader roster composition, the 49ers boast multiple high-quality, highly paid players across key positions. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, and George K.D. represent a foundation of elite talent that puts the team in a strong position within the NFC. Even with some perceived gaps in drafting or free agent acquisitions, the overall roster quality remains high. The challenge now is optimizing that talent and addressing specific weaknesses in a way that elevates the team from playoff contender to Super Bowl caliber squad. The injuries throughout the season provide additional context for understanding performance outcomes. Brock Purdy faced challenges early on, missing key games and having to adapt to a constantly changing set of targets. George K.D.'s injuries and Brandon Ayuk's extended absence affected the passing game, while Ricky Pereira and other receivers also dealt with setbacks. Despite these hurdles, the team managed to compete effectively in many games, demonstrating resilience and potential. It also highlights the importance of depth and the ability to rotate players without a significant drop in performance. Evaluating the upcoming offseason, it becomes clear that strategic additions at wide receiver and along the offensive line are likely to define the team's trajectory. The draft offers opportunities to bring in young, dynamic players who can contribute immediately or develop into future stars. At the same time, careful consideration of contracts, salaries, and financial strategy is essential to maintain balance across the roster. This is where the combination of front office planning and coaching strategy becomes crucial, as the 49ers seek to assemble a roster capable of sustained success while navigating the complexities of injuries, salary cap constraints, and positional needs. As the team evaluates options, there's also the broader strategic lens of division competition. The Seahawks and Rams continue to present formidable challenges, particularly in terms of roster composition, talent utilization, and offensive efficiency. Learning from the losses against these teams can provide valuable insight into how to optimize play calling, roster deployment, and player development, recognizing where opponents excel, whether through dynamic receiving cores, strategic play design, or depth across positions, allows the Niners to adapt and address weaknesses that could otherwise be exploited in critical matchups. Finally, there's an ongoing conversation about the general manager and front office structure. While some fans speculate about potential deficiencies, the reality is that the 49ers roster already contains a significant number of top-tier players at critical positions. The focus is less about questioning management and more about identifying strategic improvements that maximize the existing talent and address clear positional needs. From enhancing the offensive line to adding speed and versatility at receiver, the next steps involve precise, thoughtful decisions designed to strengthen the team for a deep playoff run and beyond. Looking deeper into the offseason priorities, it's clear that the Niners are at a crossroads when it comes to offensive development. While the foundation is strong with elite players like Fred Warner and Nick Bosa anchoring the defense, and Christian McCaffrey providing a versatile offensive weapon, the team's ceiling is still limited by depth and consistency at certain key positions. The quarterback situation, while generally solid with Brock Purdy, demands reliable targets, particularly at wide receiver, where injuries and inconsistent production have left holes that must be addressed. The ability to spread the field and keep defenses off balance is critical, and without that, even the best offensive line or elite running back cannot maximize their impact. Wide receiver depth is particularly crucial in Shanahan's offense because of how the scheme relies on route precision, spacing, and timing. A wide receiver who can consistently separate and convert opportunities under pressure is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Ricky Pereira has shown flashes of brilliance, and Jawan Jennings has provided crucial support, but neither has consistently served as a top-tier option throughout a full season. The team's reliance on Christian McCaffrey as a primary target also highlights a structural vulnerability. When defenses can focus on McCaffrey and adjust to secondary options, the offense can stall. Addressing this requires not only talent acquisition, but also strategic integration, ensuring that new pieces complement existing strengths rather than simply filling gaps. Shifting focus to the offensive line, the conversation about potential upgrades continues to generate discussion. Left guard and center positions are pivotal for both pass protection and run blocking. While Jake Bindle has improved in some areas, particularly in run blocking and penalty reduction, the overall line still presents concerns when facing elite pass rushers. Bringing in a player like Tyler Linderbaum could help shore up interior protection, giving Brock Purdy more time in the pocket and allowing the running game to operate efficiently. Even if the team does not pursue a high-profile signing, the draft provides opportunities to develop linemen who can contribute immediately or grow into long-term solutions, a crucial consideration for a team with championship aspiration. Another factor to consider is the team's use of offensive personnel in red zone situations. The lack of a dominant wide receiver has made it difficult for the Niners to consistently convert opportunities inside the 20-yard line, while tight ends and running backs contribute significantly. The absence of a true number one receiver creates defensive mismatches that can limit scoring potential. Evaluating these scenarios from a tactical perspective underscores the importance of both speed and versatility in the receiving corps. The addition of a receiver who can stretch the field and demand coverage attention changes the dynamic entirely, opening lanes for other players and forcing defenses to adjust, which in turn enhances overall offensive efficiency. Looking at league comparisons, the contrast with teams like the Seahawks and Rams is instructive. Both teams have established wide receivers capable of consistently producing at a high level, creating mismatches that allow their quarterbacks to operate with relative comfort. For the Niners, the challenges replicating that kind of production while balancing salary cap considerations and managing the existing roster. The Seahawks' success, for example, has been built in part on strategic utilization of their receiving corps and maintaining depth that can withstand injuries. This highlights the dual priorities of talent acquisition and sustainable roster management, both of which the Niners must address if they hope to compete at the highest level in upcoming seasons. Player health and durability remain central concerns, particularly given the injuries that affected the 2020 season. George K.D. missed significant time, while Brandon Ayuk's injury disrupted offensive rhythm. Brock Purdy, despite these challenges, delivered a strong performance, demonstrating resilience and adaptability. The capacity to maintain a high level of play despite such setbacks underscores the importance of depth and redundancy across key positions. A well-constructed roster must not only include star talent, but also reliable secondary options, capable of stepping up in critical moments. This is especially true for teams with Super Bowl ambitions, where even minor lapses can have outsized consequences. Turning attention to coaching strategy, Kyle Shanahan's approach has always emphasized precision, timing, and adaptability. The system rewards disciplined execution and can elevate average players when used effectively, but it also exposes weaknesses when personnel cannot execute at the required level. The interplay between quarterback, receivers, and offensive line is critical. Miscommunications, route deviations, or delayed reactions can cascade into larger failures, particularly against elite defenses. Enhancing the roster is not simply about signing high-profile players. It's about ensuring that each component integrates seamlessly into the offensive scheme, maximizing efficiency and reducing the likelihood of errors. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Shockwaves are reportedly rippling through the San Francisco 49ers locker room as whispers suggest that veteran offensive tackle Trent Williams is seriously contemplating immediate retirement. Known for his fierce competitiveness and relentless drive on the field, Williams allegedly told insiders, "I don't have the patience to lose anymore," fueling speculation that his time with the 49ers could be coming to an abrupt end. Williams, a cornerstone of the 49ers offensive line for years, has been widely regarded as one of the premier tackles in the league. His dominance in protecting quarterbacks and opening lanes for the run game has been crucial to San Francisco's offensive identity. However, sources close to the team indicate that a combination of mounting frustration over repeated losses and lingering injuries may have pushed Williams to the brink. The veteran's candid remarks, which have circulated quietly among teammates, suggest that his patience for enduring what he perceives as underperformance may have reached its limit. The potential departure of Williams would mark a seismic shift for the 49ers, whose offensive line has been both the backbone and the lifeline of the franchise. Analysts have long noted that without his presence, the team could face significant challenges in both pass protection and run schemes. Even more so, the timing could not be more sensitive, as the 49ers are navigating a critical stretch of their campaign where leadership and stability on the field are paramount. Fans have taken to social media to speculate wildly, debating whether the star tackle might step away entirely or simply demand a trade to a team with a more immediate chance at winning. Meanwhile, the 49ers front office remains tight-lipped, neither confirming nor denying the rumors. Inside sources hint at a series of private meetings scheduled between Williams and team management, suggesting that discussions about his future are already underway. whether Williams ultimately chooses to hang up his cleats or ride out the remainder of his contract. One thing seems certain: the San Francisco locker room is tense, and the potential loss of a player of Williams' caliber could reverberate across the league. For now, fans and pundits alike are left in suspense, watching and waiting to see if one of the NFL's most formidable offensive linemen will step away from the game on his own terms, or shock the football world with a stunning mid-season exit. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.